So it's the end for Gareth Southgate. I don't think anybody is too surprised by the fact that the England head coach has stepped down just 2 days after England lost the Euro 2020 final to Spain in Berlin. I think he was always going to go. I think he was going to go win or lose. I think after 8 years in the job, 102 games, I think Southgate had shown the strain. I think he is tired and exasperated by a lot of the nonsense that goes with the England job, a lot of the off-field stuff that, having to comment on certain things that don't really relate to the job. And I think he's been a real statesman for the FA, and he has undoubtedly transformed the status of the England national team since he took over. Let's not forget that when he took over, England had just come off the back of a disastrous Euro 2016 campaign when they lost to Iceland. Sam Allardyce had been in charge for one game. Southgate stepped up as a kind of a safe pair of hands, and that was meant to be a brief job, 2-game job, and it turned into 8 years. So he's done an amazing job, and I think history and time will look back on his reign as ultimately successful. Three semi-finals, 2 major finals, which prior to coming in, that was kind of unprecedented. No other England manager has ever done that. So yes, he went close and didn't win the Euro final in 2020 and 2024, but we can't say that Gareth Southgate's time as England head coach was a failure, but he raised the bar to the point where getting to a final wasn't enough, and that showed the success that he had in his time in charge. But he's made the right decision to go. I think after 8 years, it's time for a change. I think there's a group of players with the England squad that do need a different level of coach. I think you've got Champions League winners, you've got players that won Premier Leagues, that they are used to being at the very highest level of the club game, working for the very best coaches. Jurgen Klopp, Carlo Ancelotti, Pep Guardiola. These are the absolute elite of the game. And I think with respect to Gareth Southgate, he isn't in that bracket. He's not a coach that will command a Champions League job. And I think this group of players needs that inspirational coach, that proven track record coach to take them to glory in the international stage, which they haven't had. So right now, I think that the two favourites, the two obviously internal candidates, are Eddie Howe, the Newcastle manager, and Graham Potter, who's obviously out of work since leaving Chelsea over a year ago. Now, the important thing to stress is that this is not about, in many ways, getting the best person for the job. I think the best person for the job is Jurgen Klopp or Pep Guardiola, but we'll park that to one side for now. The FA are determined to have an English coach if they can, because they want to show that their coaching pathway at St George's Park is successful. And it has been successful over the years. It's over 10 years old now that they've produced some coaches. And Graham Potter, in many ways, is the poster boy of the English FA. He's come through the coaching system, and he's managed overseas. He's managed well in the UK. He's done well at Brighton. He went to the Chelsea job, perhaps ahead of his time, but he struggled at Chelsea. He couldn't handle the big personalities. He couldn't handle the pressure that comes with the job. So considering the England job is that pressure 10 times magnified with more big name players, I don't think Potter is cut out for the job, but he's the perfect candidate for the FA. He's safe, he's diplomatic, he's clean cut, he's exactly what the FA need. Eddie Howe, similar. I think Eddie Howe is a better candidate than Graham Potter, but obviously Eddie Howe is in a big job right now at Newcastle. It would take a lot to get him out of that job, and big managers don't tend to leave big Premier League jobs to manage a national team. Not now, not in these days. It used to happen 20, 30 years ago, but the international game is no longer the pinnacle. The pinnacle is Champions League and being at a top club. So I think Eddie Howe is going to be very hard to get, but I think Eddie Howe would have the credentials to manage the England team because he has worked at Champions League level, and he's got a lot more experience, a lot more depth to his career than Graham Potter. But for me, the England FA have got plenty of money. They've got big ambition. They have to go for the best person for the job. And right now, the best person for the job is available is Jurgen Klopp. Now, clearly, he wants a break. I've been told that he wants at least a year out of the game, so that's going to be very hard for them to do. But, Jurgen Klopp transformed Liverpool. He made them a superpower in the game again. He's got a fantastic relationship with his players, an incredible bond with the supporters. The FA should show some ambition. Show the ambition to try and get Jurgen Klopp. Now, he may not want the job. Fine. If he doesn't want the job, at least try and get Jurgen Klopp because he is the best person available. If Jurgen Klopp doesn't fancy it, you've got Mauricio Pochettino, Thomas Tuchel again, 2 top-level coaches that have worked with the top players who are available. Now, I've heard that Pep Guardiola might fancy the job. I don't see that in a million years. I don't see Pep Guardiola wanting to work for the English national team. I think he'd rather work for Brazil or Argentina, but I don't think Guardiola is gettable. Certainly not right now. He's the Man City manager. But for me, Jurgen Klopp is the guy. He would make England so much better because the domestic candidates are just not equipped for the job. They are not good enough to take this group of players. You want a manager to walk into that dressing room and say to Jude Bellingham, to Harry Kane, to these players, this is what I want you to do. And I'm sorry, but if it's Graham Potter, he can't have the same clout as a Carlo Ancelotti or a Klopp or a Tuchel or a Pochettino. So England now have to be ambitious. They have to be bold. They've got a great group of players that potentially the best group of players we've had for 20 years. That, you know, they are another golden generation. But that last golden generation of Lampard, of Gerrard and Rooney, Michael Owen didn't win anything. This group of players can't go that way again. They have to get a top coach. The English FA needs to be bold. They need to be courageous. They need to do everything they can to persuade Jurgen Klopp to take the job. I don't think he'll take it, but try.